So we are back finally to post this Tudor house. I'm so excited because I had a lot of fun making this house. Like, my inspiration for it was that I just wanted to make a tiny home. I wanted this entire section up in the corner of Newcrest to be micro, tiny, and small homes. I ended up doing that, which I was so happy to finally do. But I thought they were all going to be Victorian tiny homes. And that's when I realized I couldn't make tiny Victorian homes because tiny Victorian homes were mostly townhouses, or they were townhouse designs where you have your octagonal, I don't know if I'm saying that word right, your octagonal or rounded room in the front by the itty bitty porch, and then it's just really deep. A lot of homes in San Francisco look like that, but they're also kind of townhouses. I don't really actually know what you would call them, but because they have a look that's so similar to townhouses, I'm already making Townhouse Row over on that row of the thin but long lots. I was just like, oh, that's perfect. I'm gonna make a bunch of townhouses. I do have a video of me making and furnishing that lot. I did the middle one, like in between the three long ones, right in the middle. I built my first set of townhouses, and no, I still do not have Discover University, even though I bought 2 other packs. I'm so excited to talk about that in another video when I actually get to use them. But back to the actual houses we're talking about here. So with the Tudor homes, I was so excited to have found a design that actually worked for small, micro, and tiny homes. Like, so excited. Because I had tried so many times with the Victorian house design to make it work tiny. But because of those octagonal rooms I was talking about, or the rounded rooms, I ended up losing a lot of space. And trying to balance out that really interesting looking room, like, I can't wait to furnish the rest of those apartments eventually. And I've actually got a bakery that I'm kind of trying to work out with the townhouse design. Like, I'm really excited to work with that shape again, but you lose a lot of space when you're working with a tiny home. And it's really hard to balance out what ends up being a pretty big room so that you can still get space with what ends up having to be a pretty small house. Like, your square rooms end up being a lot smaller than that octagonal room you make. It's really crazy. But the townhouses and the area around there is definitely where I'm gonna have a better time getting the historical Victorian style out of my system there, rather than in these tiny homes. Especially because I've already filled this corner with a ton of Tudor homes, and I'm so excited to show them off soon. So what I usually do is I create the home. This tiny Tudor home ended up taking about 4 to 5 hours, I think, because I was just fiddling with the roof, I was fiddling with the room sizes. It really took a long time to get the first draft of that house done. And don't even get me started on the furniture. I knew I wanted it to be Gothic Victorian, but it's still really hard to pick out furniture that looks good together, that isn't just in a set, if that makes sense. Because sometimes, you want it to look vintage rather than expensive. In this case, I really want it to look Gothic-y and vintage and Victorian, rather than I bought the most expensive items at Wayfair. I really wanted to look like this had been here for a while. But basically what I do is I create the home, I furnish the home, and that, again, takes a really long time. And then I build the lot beside it. I'm actually going to switch to doing this thing I saw another speed builder do, which is she put terrain paint around the house and around, the things she had to make, if that makes sense. You put terrain paint around your building so that it looks like lived in, and it looks like it's actually in the ground, if that makes sense. It has an in-depth look. But she also put it around the pond or the porch. You know what I mean? But yeah, I saw her do that, and I thought it was a great idea, especially because I got really carried away and this entire corner is now filled with Tudor homes. So I don't have an empty lot to recreate the house that I would be recreating. Because you can see in this video, that's what I do. I just recreate the house beside the house. I won't have an opportunity to do that anymore. So I'm going to put down terrain paint and then just follow the lines and take screenshots of the build and just go from there. I'm just really excited to show everybody what I've been doing with the Tudor homes, because they're really, really fun to make. Really fun to make, really fun to furnish. They're just, yeah, I just loved them. I ended up making a micro home, a tiny home, and a small home, and then a rental lot. And I really wanted to make the rental lot feel a lot bigger than the other ones, and it is. It's significantly bigger. It has a second story has more than just the one room. Like, you know how you make tiny homes and you put a second floor in it, but it's literally just the bedroom? That's not what happened with the rental home. It's massive. And oh my gosh, it's been so crazy trying to furnish it. It's been a pain. But I made these homes and I'm super excited. And there's already Sims for every house. So this house is going to have a mom and daughter living in it. She's a young mom. She's a toddler, because toddlers are adorable. You should probably see at the end a super quick, 3 to 4 minute long little clip of me building them. Like, you'll see it, okay, here they are, and then screenshots of the house and them in it. But they're super cute. I actually was inspired by a Fallout character I was playing. Me and my mom love to play Fallout and create characters together. So we made this character where she's like a raider and she has a kid. Her name is Tudor in Genesis. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm gonna put it in The Sims. Those are not their names here. I think it's Desdemona and Blair, but I actually can't remember. But they're super cute, and I did feature them in a couple of the screenshots of the backyard, specifically with the trellis. Which, why isn't the trellis called a trellis? I never know what they call it, so I can never search for it. I have to just scroll to the bottom of the outdoor decorations or the miscellaneous decorations. I can't remember. But it's like, I just want to search trellis and find the trellis. Why is it not called a trellis? Anyways, so I wanted to mention, none of these homes had a budget. By all means, this is a very expensive house. I don't know how. It just ended up being really expensive. So did the micro home. So did the small home. I think the rental home is like $800 a day, which probably isn't going to change, because I don't know how much I want to budget the rental home. It's supposed to be nice. You know, I don't imagine Sims are going to be staying there for super long periods of time. I'll probably try to get it down to more like a few hundred a night rather than, almost $1,000. But still, it's just for fun. Just adding some flair. Like, this is the one Airbnb in a village. It's that kind of feeling. But when I do make the save file I keep talking about, the ever mystical save file, I'm going to budget all of these homes. They're all going to get knocked down to more reasonable prices. They're all going to be base game, yada yada, you know how it is. I'll probably make 2, maybe 3 save files of Newcrest, where one is entirely base game, the second one is all the DLC that I have, all the packs that I wanted to add, and maybe the third could be mods, like base game but with mods or something like that. I don't know. What I might do instead, I'm rambling here, I don't even care, but what I might do instead is base game, DLC, and then I have recommended mods, and I share the ways that I've used mods in the game to add some spice, because I talked about in my last video, I love mods and I want to keep supporting the mod community. So every time I use a mod, it's going to be in the description down below. This build specifically doesn't use any mods, but the mother, Desdemona, she does use mods. She uses a hair mod, and I think 5 total CC mods, because there's a top that matches the skirt, and then top that goes with the other skirt, and then shoes. So I think that's about 6 mods total for the mother. But it'll all be linked below. I bookmarked all of it. So I want people to download mods. That's absolutely what I want people to do. I want them to keep supporting mods, old and new. And all the CC still works for me. Hair, clothes, it all still works after the patch. So that's about it. I'm really excited to show you guys the rest of all the homes. And I hope you guys really like this one, because I really like this one. Thank you for watching. Bye!